Again, I'm Matthew Hill. I'm with Knight Energy Services. We're here today and blessed with Curtis Moore from TruApp. We've been doing this podcast, Fossil Fuel Fridays, interviewing people that have a lot to contribute to our industry and have a lot of wisdom and new things to offer. I want to make this a platform to show everybody, all the people that are part of what we do, and the future of oil and gas is going to be made happen by people like Curtis that have ideas and they go out and make them happen. And we're just so blessed that we have people like you, Curtis, that are out there kicking butt right now. It looks like he's on his other meeting right now. He had to mute himself, but here in just a second, whenever you're ready, Curtis, I'd love for you to tell everybody about TruApp and how you, I mean, everything about you. How'd you get started in oil and gas, and then what you're going to do with TruApp and how it's going to revolutionize the oil and gas industry for operators as far as above ground. Like you said, we talked briefly, and so much goes into everything underground right now, but here's the new generation of software available to save costs at the operations level. I'm going to mute myself whenever you're ready, Curtis. Just give me the nod.
Thank you, Matthew, for introducing me as well as bringing me onto your platform. We're delighted to be with you to join you to discuss TruApps, the origins of TruApps, and why we're here. We feel very excited about our opportunity, but more importantly, we're poised to really bring the information forward. TruApp Energy started around about 2012 with the Padami oil field when BP could not get oil out of the ground. So immediately they wanted to deliver better profits. No, Zane, guys, I'm doing very well, but I'm also being interviewed by Matt Hill and his team on a Zoom meeting. So I'm listening. I love the compliments, but I'm also chimed in on what you guys are saying. Thank you. But as I was saying, the TruApp story really began multiple years ago. Our parent company is TexRUs. TexRUs has been making software and operating systems for tech giants and giants across the world for the last 20 plus years. So as a result, some of our team has been working with Conoco. We're talking about the ins and outs in the field as well as in the back office, making software for opportunities to make things work. Some of the guys have been with Chevron, they've been with BP. So when the Padami oil field opportunity came up, it was like, we're not surprised because we know that the focus for a number of years has been on in the hole, down the hole. And as a result, the inability to focus on operations and operational efficiency, as well as driving for safety and lowering costs. So immediately when the Padami oil field was purchased by a small company, they knew from day one that they wanted to bring in smart tools. So as a result, Andrew Zaleev and his team from TexRUs, which is known now as TruApp Energy, they said, guys, this is what we do. We love it, no problem. So they were able to immediately reduce costs, reduce overhead, but not just, most people when they think about cost, Matt, it's not just about moving people around. The bigger players here was redundancy and software systems, disconnected systems, as well as systems that did not connect to anyone. So as a result, when you talk about anywhere from hundreds of millions of dollars in indirect and direct IT costs was saved day one.
Hundreds of millions of dollars is what
Hundreds
you're
of millions of dollars.
You're not
correct.
talking about saving people a little bit of money. You're talking about saving operators
yes,
millions and millions of dollars.
Yes, when you think of the life cycle of the reservoir or the filling, the drilling, just doesn't start day one. Cost keeps going up and up and up and up. So what happens is if you can take your operational costs, your lifting costs, and reduce that in multiple ways, then now you bring on a smart tool. The smart tool has 125 critical components. And just hypothetically speaking, when you think about smart tools, they have to do something, they have to mean something. This tool is the full gamut. It's like the mother lode of smart tools. Now, when we think about that, what does it do? Well, it predicts, it remembers, it alerts. Okay. And more importantly, what it also does, it makes life easier for the field operators. This tool, TruApp Energy's OPS, is designed specifically for people in the field. So in essence, when you think about all the craft hands, all the disciplines, the TruApp team, which has over 350,000 years of research and development, they worked in these fields. They asked questions, hey, Matt, what can make your life much easier in your field, in your role? And they would say, okay, so a lot of that went into creating this tool. But here's what it doesn't do. It's not an accounting software, but it interfaces with all the accounting software. It interfaces with SAP, OGSys, et cetera, et cetera. You also have the ability to, when you think of training, all of the training apparatuses, your DOT, your regular training. Okay, I like it's not a problem. This is not for everyone. The smart tool is not for everyone, but I tell you, the communities that it can help. When we start talking about reductions, we're not just talking about reduction in cost, reduction in redundant systems. We're talking about, we're talking also about operational efficiency, which is very important in today's world, because oftentimes, in the past, Matthew, team guys, Kimberly, Mark, the producers had so much money. They can fix it with money. And when you look at some of the giants like Oxy and some of the other, money is not the issue. Now, granted, money is always important, but we want to be able to produce oil and gas at a better efficiency rate. We also want to make sure that we can increase our productivity, but we will not, cannot lose sight on the environment. If you have lower your cost, you will increase your profitability. And as a direct result, you can drive better compliance. You can drive better people to your organization that has higher credentials, because number one, you're running an efficient, lean, clean machine, but also too, you have enough money to focus on your regulatory compliance. Let's talk about regulatory compliance.
Yes, please. This is going to save, guys, this is where he and I were talking about just how much time and money, yet again, you can save with TruApp. Again, we've got Curtis Moore, everybody, with TruApp. Please go check out everything about their company, their software, and how they're making a difference for the oil field.
Absolutely. Again, the regulatory compliance is very big across the world. No matter if you reduce costs, you're still going to have millions and millions and millions of data sets that you have regulatory compliance, DOT compliance. You have just a plethora of compliance. When you think about how TruApp Energy's oil and gas field operating system has 125 critical components, in the HSE component is a behavior-based safety component. So in essence, when you look at that 350,000 man hours of research and development, there was a large component of how regulatory plays a big role. And from a regulatory standpoint, all the producers across the world, but primarily speaking in America, there's still more that have to be compliant. There's things that needs to be done. Who's going to do these things? You just can't cut costs. So a smart tool can help you derive regulatory compliance. When you think about regulatory reporting, I've talked to people across the last year or so, and Matthew, that I was told, well, it takes us a month or 2 months to get our regulatory compliance, our data, you know, the issues with what the standard stuff that each state wants, that's easy. But in terms of how you calculate the gas, the emissions, you know, the taxes, all these things with TruApp interfaces with the SCADA feed, it's as
Wow.
easy as a click. It's as easy as a click. You know, we have a client
Incredible.
that was doing a particular job. It took that team about 6 months to really come into, so basically almost 2 quarters, to come into compliance. We worked with them and we got them down to 2 days, as simple as a click. Now, what that simply means is you're utilizing a smart tool to really help you from a compliance standpoint. And then when you think about regulators, regulators love our tool as well because it gives them a clear look into how well and how seamless this process is. As a matter of fact, think about if you're doing an audit in the old way, you bring in all these bankers boxes and, you know, all these people are really focusing on this audit. You're pulling data from file cabinets and clipboards. There's no need for that. Everything is loaded into the app. It's a point and click. The auditors ask them for certain things. You can take, say for instance, you have a reservoir 14335 in East Texas, and you want to have all of that information that the reservoir is 30 years old. Where are you going to have all this information? Well, you store it into the app. That information, you take your mouse and you click a button, you type in what you want, and it comes up instantly.
Wow.
So that's just one of the highlights from a regulatory standpoint.
That's just one of the components of that system.
There's so many highlights.
You're able through every organization, and you and I spoke about it on the phone. There's no matter the size of the company. I mean, you're available for every size of operator and exploration company, or I mean, well, actually, your software will translate through any type of industry, but drilling, completion, production, reservoir, regulatory, geology,
Absolutely.
every bit of that operation can run through your software.
Absolutely. 97% of the oil fields operation can run through there. The other 3% is counting the money. That's where your OGSIS and your SAP comes in. And we're one of the very few platforms in the world that has successful integration with SAP. We understand how SAP works. They understand how we work. But the design was always for the people in the field, because that is where the rubber meets the road, as well as if it can make the craft hand's life much easier, much better, faster. Think about how everyone's connected, Matthew, on this interconnected system. So the data flows to the proper person in real time. Say, for instance, you're a completion engineer and there's something going on with completing the well. Well, normally what you would do is go into the old drive or an Excel spread or something like that, or the shared drive to try to figure out what that is. With TruApp,
slow, clunky systems.
With TruApp, basically you type in a few tag IDs or whatever you're looking for, and instantly it pops up. That data needs to flow to several people. Say, for instance, if you're a C-suite and you need to make a critical decision based on production, allocation, and we want to know what's happening in Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Louisiana. Normally, what would you do? You'd call somebody up and they'd call somebody and they'd call somebody. With TruApp, you don't have that problem. All you do is you click a button. If you're a C-suite, in the palm of your hands, you have a tablet or a smartphone, and you can get that information in real time. It is a game changer.
Game changer. Game changer.
And that's just one critical component. I mean, we haven't talked about materials management. We haven't talked about in terms of our procurement. We feel that
procurement as well. Yeah, I mean, everybody's gone to procurement departments. They're saving companies money, streamlining vendors for operators, and your TruApp has the ability to work with the procurement department as well.
Absolutely. And when you talk about, the system was designed to be able to source, to be able to source in real time. You have a fail-safe system where nothing is purchased without 2 or 3 signatures, because oftentimes we hear stories about these ginormous companies have such huge procurement departments, and they run in, you know, $300-400 million budgets, but the field hands, the parts and the different components that they need, it's not getting there. With TruApp Energy's OPS, it's a workflow system. So the work comes in, it's assigned to a person. That person's training and credentials is also highlighted. The actual item that they're going to be fixing, say for instance, an O-ring or something like that, they don't have that part. Normally, what would you do? You call the warehouse or you send an email. What happens if the email is lost? With TruApp system, once that workflow starts, it's assigned and it's tracked and it flows interconnected. So that information, that part, you'll know where it is, when it is, how much it is, when it's coming, what's on hold, what's in the warehouse, what's in the North warehouse, the West warehouse, the East Coast warehouse. It's just one of those things where it's a fabulous, fabulous tool. But I think the bigger picture is it's only as good as people really want to use it. Now, where does it work well? It works in small independents. It works in medium size and also ginormous producers. We're currently working right now with one of the 7 super majors. But we started this in 2012 with a small independent. And that small independent was being able to run year after year increases. And then once they sold out, they quadrupled their profits. But they also ran a clean operation, smart operation, and they still maintained all of their workforce, because what they were able to do is take and redistribute their workforce in the proper areas. Because if you're removing these redundant systems, look at this. If you have a org chart and you have this whole side of the org chart working on all these disconnected systems, you bring in TruApp, and then you still have the work that needs to be done, but then you have a system where these people are being trained and they're being onboarded to say, wow, this makes my job much easier.
Making your job easier.
And efficient. Efficiency is important. So
Yeah,
I'll open up.
how much time do we all spend doing clunky software things that we are like, man, there's got to be something better out there. All of my friends that are engineers, oftentimes this is one of their things. Like they are, what you're going to do is let them unleash the power of what they can do each day.
You're right, Kimberly.
Hey, Kim. By the way, Kimberly Smith is one that got me started doing these podcasts. Thank you, Kim.
Okay.
She is Talk Texas Oil Media Group. She's also in land. This lady is an amazing contact to have. She supports everybody in the oil and gas industry, and I just cannot thank her enough every time I see her.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, Kimberly, and I look forward to educating, learning from you, working with you, strategizing, because I think it takes a village to be able to accomplish what we're trying to do here. I feel very compelled to help restore America's position in terms of producing oil and gas, but I think we have to have a paradigm shift where we're focusing on operations as well as downhole, because downhole has some great technology. We're drilling sideways, laterally. I mean, you're talking just a plethora of advancements, but there have been very few advancements that we can find anywhere in operations. And that's one of the reasons why CNBC reached out to us and say, hey, we think what you're doing is phenomenal, but we want to educate the world. Do you have any problem with it? We was like, absolutely not. Let's make this happen, you know.
CNBC. He was on CNBC with this software.
Sure was.
That's how excited everybody is about your software, Curtis. It's absolutely amazing. Hey, I want you to tell everybody. So he and I were talking the other day. He is putting this software in people's hands to get started without charging them upfront costs.
Yes.
This is where it's really going to take off quickly for people. He knows that it's going to take a minute to get people to utilize the software, to adopt it, to train people, and he's not worried about making his income yet off of that. And you tell it, Curtis.
Yes, that's correct. There's a few caveats to that, but you're absolutely, Matthew. We're so poised and confident that TruApp Energy's OPS could help producers across the country. Uh, we are willing to say, if you follow our playbook based on our 350,000 years of research and development, based on us working with super majors and independents, you're going to drive these type of numbers over a period of time. There is an onboarding and there's training, which is separate from the application. But we're willing to give the right producer that application and help hold his or her hand to work with them and train them and get them to an operational efficiency. And then the amount that they reduce over a period of years, that's where we'll make our money. So in other words, we're putting our mouth and we're putting our sweat equity up front, but we also want to have a certain buy-in from the producer. We're just not going to turn it over to you and say, have at it. No, because it's a very robust system. It's very robust. And you really need to understand it. So a needs analysis is very important. Some producers may not need the full TruApp. It's 125 critical components, but it's a modular base. It's 13 modulars. They may need 4, they may need 5. But what we're saying is, once we do a needs analysis and we say, well, here's what you need. You agree this is what you need. And whether you host or we host, there are certain things we will charge for. We have to bring in someone to train you and onboard you. But in terms of the upfront cost for the app, no, we're not going to do that. We're confident that you can drive numbers at a certain amount of time. You can reduce your lifting costs and your overall costs based on those reductions and those savings. That's how we'll make our money.
Love it. We also talked, this is not going to be just for operators, this is going to be for service industry. Also, it'll be integrated into companies like Kim works for, like land companies. So you can go to land companies and say, hey, let me see what your needs might be to reduce your own costs and work with your systems to help landman. I mean, this is just unstoppable.
Yes, Matthew and Mark. Yes, this the TruApp system has a lot of verticality and has a huge upside for all industries. If you have disconnected systems, you have a lot of moving parts. If you have a lot of O drive, shared drive, you have a lot of Excel, and then you have people all across a region or area. This system will help all industries, not just oil and gas. Oil and gas right now, it's an emergent need right now for oil and gas. But when you think about how you can scale into renewables, solar, wind, trucking, right now I'm also in discussions with some municipalities across the country, because these municipalities are large and they have a lot of moving parts. Nuclear facilities, yes, it is a huge tool, but it can help a lot of people. And the way it started many years ago, Andrew Zaliv and his team, they created a operating system for a pizza shop. That's how it started. And this pizza shop owner had multiple pizza shops all across like an area, a geographical area, but he had people everywhere. He was losing money, disconnected, dropping orders. So they pulled everything in together and they said, how could we create a smart tool that will work best for your organization and that would help you be more efficient, more leaner, more cleaner, look at your costs, look at your production, look at, your timeliness of deliveries, et cetera, et cetera. So when you extrapolate that out and look at the oil and gas industry, it's the same thing. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a ton of data, there's a ton of permitting and engineering documents and drawings and et cetera, et cetera. What do you do with all this stuff? How do you manage that? Say for instance, you're a new company, an investor just purchased an asset, but they have no system. They're going to focus and do what they've always done, only focus on downhole. They then go buy expensive tools that you don't really need, and they may have similar issues. There's no need for that. TruApp Energy's OPS is a standalone system that integrates with some of the MMS systems, as well as it integrates with all of the leading accounting softwares. So now you bring in that, you're reducing the redundant costs, you're reducing unneeded headcount, and you're shifting that headcount to somewhere where they can be more productive. You have more money to scale your organization, whether it be buy new assets or buy better equipment. You also have a best-in-class materials management system in place where it will alert you, it will let you know, it will train you on what you need to know to do better. Then when you bring that in, you say, wow, we're making money now. We're happier. All of your craft hands and your disciplines, they're interconnected now. They understand what everyone's role is, but they also understand what their role is much better. So when you think about all the industries that this can help, it's phenomenal. It really is. It's just phenomenal. And we're so excited to be able to bring this to America and eventually to the world. The uptick, that's where you can help. Kimberly, Mark, Matthew, you can help with the uptick. It's just
I
a
am
conversation.
honored to spread the word about TruApp and what you can do for our industry. Again, saving time, saving money, saving just unlimited potential in what you're going to be able to do for this industry, Curtis. And I just thank you so much. Hey, I know we're running out of time with you, and I know you've got important meetings.
Want to open it up for some questions?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly what I was about to ask. If you wouldn't mind, if if Kimberly, you're working in land, I mean, what are some of the systems you work in, and see how this could help you? Here, I'll actually, I'm going to take you off mute, Kimberly. Maybe. There we go. Hey, Kim.
Hi, thank you for taking time to educate our industry about something very, very important. I do see a lot of data silos happen and trying to move information between one department and another department, and each one uses different software and has to retype, creating efficiency, linking it to a project. And so what I'm understanding is that that's what your software can do, as well as do the optimization in the field, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. Kimberly, the TruApp Energy OPS has the ability to take all of your interconnected systems, disconnected systems, interconnect, as well as be able to have a massive amount of data. As a matter of fact, our team we own one of the largest data centers in the cloud, and one of our data centers is actually in Texas, in Dallas area. So we can take all of that information within a one organization, load it into the app, and then move that information simultaneously into the right people. As a matter of fact, if there's an issue where you need to have some data, and in the past where it be, like I said, shared O or Excel, bringing it into the TruApp system, here's the key right here. You only have to load the data in the first time, one time. Once that data is loaded in, it flows, and it's an interconnected system where basically when you say how effective is that, it's very effective because, again, we had our first test run in 2012, and now currently right now we're working with some independents, but we're also working with a super major. And one of the things that they loved about that is have all of their Alaska operations being connected, to be able to have that data flow and to be just instant. And that's the key. To have the information is great, but when you have a third party that has your information in the cloud, what use is it? You can have your information, whether it be in our cloud or on your server, but through the TruApp system, it flows instantly.
And Mark has several good questions that he's put on chat. You may want to go to Mark and just read his questions as well.
I have Mark taken off mute too, if he wants to speak. He said his office was mayhem right now. So Mark, if you'd like to ask any questions.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mark, we can hear you. Hello, okay. How are you today?
Good, good. Thank you. We have tank batteries that are connected into our operations department through 4G LTE, and different departments need access to different parts of that data that are coming into the office. And right now, we don't have really a good way to distribute that information. And so I was just typing you a note to message me through my LinkedIn profile with your contact details, because I was wanting to talk to you about some of the possibilities we might have of distributing that data through TruApp.
Okay, absolutely. I will definitely reach out to you via LinkedIn. What we'd want to do initially is understand more about some of your critical areas of concern, and be able to bring in a few of my IT people, as well as some of my subject matter experts, to be able to really understand what you're doing, what you want to do, how you're currently doing it right now. But I can assure you, if it's a workable solution, TruApp has a uncanny ability to be able to move data in multiple places. And as a matter of fact, our team right now, the Texas team is bringing, the fishermen in Alaska. Fishing industry is huge, but for years they were antiquated and they were not able to be able to weigh and be able to turn over their receipts. So we're bringing Wi-Fi into places that it never had. So that's data being moved in an uncanny way. So Mark, I do want to understand a little bit more. So I will reach out to you and we can talk, and then I can bring in a few more people. We can understand what you're doing. And I think you'll be amazed all the things TruApp could do. Right now, you're looking at one particular possible caveat, but it could be more. But the key is just educate ourselves together and learn and see what we can do. Love it. I really love the opportunity to work with you.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Mark. I really appreciate it. And this is exciting to always be able to connect each other and support our industry.
Exactly.
I'm going to probably have to hit you up too, Curtis. I'm constantly bugging my ops manager for data. And you and I might be talking about how you can help out Night Energy Services someday as well.
Absolutely.
Oftentimes, me jumping into their systems, I'm just a salesman. I probably mess up stuff every time I get on their computer. So you've got to find a better way for me, buddy.
If there's a better way, I'm definitely willing to establish that point. But we feel that the services industry in the future it has a bright future because of smart technology and the ability to be able to interface with your current clients and do your job better and do it in a real time and have better communications, as well as the service industries have tons and tons of people doing tons and tons of jobs. And when you start thinking about our training system, you start thinking about how it's best in class because it has the ability to be able to do on the fly training. It has the ability to bring a video, bring a pedagogue, to be able to, all of your training, your certificates, all of your DOT stuff, your standardized stuff. So there's a plethora of information that can roll through that. And it is a mammoth of a tool, but it's very easy to use, and even us salespeople can use it,
Right. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go today because I know you're going to go out there and talk to a lot more people about TruApp. Again, everybody, this is Curtis Moore with TruApp. Please go to their website, check out everything about it, try to use it, talk to Curtis Moore. Go to their YouTube channel and check out the video he sent me and I've been sharing with everybody. God bless you all. Take care. Again, this is Fossil Fuel Fridays with Curtis Moore of TruApp. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate you very much.
You're very welcome. I look
Can't wait
forward
to
to
talk to you
talking
again
to you
soon.
again. Bye-bye.